Hello, I'm Donna Krug. I'm the Barton County Family and Consumer Science Agent. So my office is in Great Bend, Kansas. And today I'm going to be sharing the Extension Ed Talk, highlighting a fact sheet that I wrote titled Simple Seasonal Meals. You might be asking, where did I get this idea? And I have to tell you that a friend of mine loaned me a novel, it's been several years ago, and it was titled Animal Vegetable Miracle. It's by Barbara Kingsolver, and it was a New York Times bestseller book. And I enjoyed reading it and learning about Barbara's family. She and her husband and two daughters had a very comfortable life in Arizona. And she had the idea that they needed to get back to their roots. And so she uprooted her family and they went back to Appalachia where they had grown up. And it's really an interesting story because you all know that Appalachia is that region is very barren and rocky and very harsh winters. Well, they moved in the fall, and so they really couldn't start growing anything till March. But once the asparagus popped through, they decided now we're going to eat more local and more in-season food. And so that's what really kind of inspired me. And I know not everyone has time to pick up a novel and read it from cover to cover. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and do a fact sheet for Kansas State University. So I created this fact sheet, Simple Seasonal Meals, kind of based on the idea of how important it is for us to eat local and also in-season produce. And I want to really highlight the website on the left side of your screen, the www.ksre.ksu.edu. If you go to that website, you will then be at a place where you can actually type in simple seasonal meals in the search, and you will then be taken directly to the fact sheet that looks like this. If you don't have a way to print it, if you want to visit a county extension office, they will certainly have a copy of it for you as well. So I guess you might be asking, why is it important to eat seasonally? And so that's actually the next slide that I'll be showing you. And there are several reasons why you should eat seasonally. The main one, though, is by choosing fruits and vegetables in season, you get all of the benefits. You get food that tastes good, that is good for you, and is reasonably priced. How far do you think your food travels from farm to table? I have a question here with 4 different answers, so I'm going to put those on the screen and let you take a guess. I have 500 miles, 800 miles, 1,500, and 2,000. Well, here we are in the middle of Kansas, so you're probably guessing one of the larger numbers. And if you guessed 1,500 miles, you are actually correct. That is how far a lot of our food travels before we get to consume it. And this is a bit of cause for concern. And there are several things I want to mention here. In most cases, the farther your produce travels, the less nutritious and tasty it is by the time that you eat it. A second cause for concern is even though the grocery store appears to have a wide variety of produce options available, their focus is on varieties that travel well and have a longer shelf life. And then the third concern is when we needlessly transport produce all over the globe, we are a bit wasteful there with our natural resources, and this in turn can harm the environment. I am sharing in my fact sheet a slide and a quote from Jay Schlichter. Jay operates a farm near the Clay Center area, and that's basically his business. He and his family work really hard to have produce, and he has a business called Jay's Jams and Jellies. So when I was putting this fact sheet together, I thought I wanted a local quote. I wanted someone who really is out there in the public and works with people all the time and understands what they are wanting in produce. And I thought he provided me with the best quote, and I want to share that with you now. When you buy locally grown and in-season produce, you have many benefits. Nutritionally, you get more bang for your buck, and choosing to buy from your local farmer's market allows you to purchase food that was picked maybe the last few days, but probably hours, and that means it will be at peak quality. When we eat seasonally and locally, it gives you a broader variety of foods in your diet. Who knew that watermelon, radishes were so good for you, or that carrots could taste like candy in wintertime? Finally, it's just fun to try new foods that you may not have ever tried before. And again, that quote is from Jay, who has Jay's Jellies, Produce, and More in north central Kansas. There are many options for eating local, and the very first one you know about if you are a gardener, and that is to grow your own garden. Sometimes there are limitations, but if you are a gardener, you know there are a few challenges that arise with early frosts or late freezes or a hailstorm that takes all the foliage off of your tomato plants. Some things like that happen. So we do know that sometimes our gardens meet with some challenges. But if you do grow a garden, that is one really good option for eating more locally. The other one I wanted to mention was a community garden. Community gardens are really quite common across the state of Kansas. But again, there can be challenges there. Do you have the tools? Do you have water accessible? So sometimes that is not always a good choice. A third is a CSA. And if you're not familiar with those initials, they stand for Community Supported Agriculture. These are found in a little more urban and more city-like settings. I know I have a son in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they have joined a CSA and have enjoyed receiving nice boxes of fresh produce every week. And then the final one is to visit the farmer's market. I've added a couple of slides here. I'll just tell you real quickly. The first one there with the two girls, those are my little granddaughters, and they are actually growing their little zucchini and cucumber in their backyard garden. The lower picture on the lower right is at our Great Bend Farmers Market. Every Thursday evening we do a summer street stroll during the growing season, and so I like to set up every once in a while with a table and hook to the electricity so I can do a stir fry or let people sample some of the current things that are available at their farmers market. So these are the options that we have, and I just think that those are things that you could be doing. Perhaps pick one of those to add to your, to make things a little bit healthier for you with the simple seasonal meal. So when I come back, I will be sharing some of the recipes that will be from each season of the year. This fact sheet actually is 8 pages long. Usually when K-State publishes something, they want it to just be 4, but when they knew I had 13 recipes, they allowed me to make it a little bit longer publication. So we'll review those in just a moment.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
You should never run out of the important stuff.
Really?
If your current wireless plan leaves you at the end of your rope, imagine how you'll feel with Nex-Tech Wireless with unlimited everything. Nex-Tech Wireless gives you the freedom to go as far as you want. Nex-Tech Wireless, something different.
The easiest way for you to get anywhere in the country is the Hayes Regional Airport. Twice daily flights between Hayes and Denver means you are only 45 minutes from over 100 direct flights to get you to your destination as quick as possible. Service from SkyWest has completely changed the flight experience out of Hayes thanks to their 50-passenger jets that include complimentary beverages and an in-flight restroom. With free parking and short security lines, there has never been a better time to use the Hayes Regional Airport. The next time you travel, check Hayes first at flyhays.com to see the time and money you could save.
What a girl wants in her home kitchen. Ease of use, flexibility, fun, the latest kitchen design, Frigidaire Professional Real Stainless Steel for fewer finger smudges, a French door refrigerator, convection cooking, a quiet dishwasher. Have the staff at Genuine Appliance in Hayes demonstrate new Frigidaire Professional appliances to find what you want. Genuine Appliance at 1224 East 27th in Hayes. Everything a girl wants.
Welcome back. I am here again to share the information from the Simple Seasonal Meals fact sheet that I wrote, and we are ready to talk about what happens when you have too much produce. So I have a slide that talks about preserving the harvest. When we talk about preserving our harvest, we know that adding a homegrown product can really add wonderful flavor to winter dishes. I don't know about you, but when we have chili, it's so much better to open up a fresh canned, some home canned tomatoes and add that to that dish or that pot of chili. And then also, it can also save money. I know something we've done in Barton County, and I know this is done quite often across the northwest area of Kansas, and that is to provide a canning workshop. Here, some ladies in Great Bend a couple of years ago were drying some herbs, and that's a wonderful way to have herbs to add to your dishes throughout the year. We always enjoy enlisting the help of Karen Blakesley. Karen is our Rapid Response Coordinator at Key State Research and Extension, and she has come out to my part of the state as well as all over Kansas, really. And she conducts these wonderful food preservation trainings. Everyone leaves with some home canned products and also the great information, because we know that our altitude is always a little different than maybe the recipe. People like to try to alter recipes, and we also know that some of the vegetables that are grown these days have a little different acid content, and so it is a really important piece for you to know that preserving the harvest safely is a very important thing. Now I think we're ready to turn to the recipes. And for this, I asked Nancy O'Connor she wrote the Rolling Prairie Cookbook. And this is, Nancy is from the Lawrence community, and she was very gracious to let me use several of her recipes. So she let me share this quote with you. Working with fresh produce, chopping, mincing, and slicing can be very renewing and can be very nourishing for both those who partake of the results as well as for those who prepare the recipes. So I appreciated what she said there, because I really believe that. I think that we gain a lot by not only just eating the produce that we buy locally, but also preparing it. That's very, very good. All right, we're going to start with spring. Spring is a really favorite season of mine, and so we're going to look at the recipes that are in the Simple Seasonal Guidebook. And so spring has sprung. We know that when asparagus comes through the crevices, just like the lady who wrote the Barbara Kingsolver with her novel, when it adds a wonderful thing to add it to salad greens, and that's some of the first produce that is available in Kansas. And so we have some recipes that are included in Simple Seasonal Meals. The marinated pasta and asparagus salad is very delicious. I actually did taste or kitchen test all of the recipes that I'm going to talk about today. I was allowed to take a small study leave, and so I tested these out on family and friends, and I didn't keep any recipes that weren't pretty high on their list. The spring strawberry spinach salad is also an excellent recipe. It came from another resource that I will share more towards the end of the program. And it has a lot of versatility. You could definitely add any type of chopped meat to this salad, or you could add different vegetables, really depending on what you have available in your garden. So there's a picture of those fresh strawberries. Wouldn't that be nice to enjoy? Now we're going to turn to the summer menu. Well, summertime brings several different things. They highlight the locally grown produce as much as possible. So I have 3 different things that I have included in the summer menus. The first one is sweet melon salsa. This is a very delicious salsa recipe that, instead of using tomatoes, uses nicely chopped up cantaloupe. Another recipe, frosty cantaloupe smoothie, I will actually show you in just a little bit in the final segment of this show. And so you'll get to see how it's prepared. And also the pasta with spicy summer vegetables. We just had one of our visits to our farmers market earlier this week, and we did prepare. My nutrition assistant, Janae Swoboda, prepared the pasta and spicy summer vegetables and let folks who were at the farmer's market sample them, and they loved it. So those are 3 of the summer recipes. You know, I know that sometimes an older person, maybe someone who's just cooking for 1 or 2, wonders, do I need to buy a whole cantaloupe? It's going to go bad before I can use it. So I'm hoping that with these 2 recipes that I've given you, that you could slice some cantaloupe and enjoy it with your breakfast, and then maybe you could make a cantaloupe smoothie to enjoy with for an afternoon snack, and maybe the next day you can make some cantaloupe salsa. So before you know it, the cantaloupe would be finished and you would have used it up and enjoyed all the nutritional benefits of eating fresh fruit like that. Okay, we'll turn to fall now. The fall splendor. You know, fall is another favorite time of my year, and definitely there are very colorful root vegetables that make for some very tasty dishes. And so you can add these recipes to your fall menu. There's a recipe for Aztec grain salad. This uses the grain quinoa, and you may or may not be familiar with quinoa. It is actually Q-U-I-N-O-A, so it might be something you might want to try. Another fall, and actually this is what it looks like as well. Another recipe you might want to try is quick grated beets. Beets are a root vegetable, and if they're stored properly, you can enjoy them for several months. And so this quick grated beets is a wonderful recipe. It uses just a little bit of lemon to kind of lighten the flavor. Another one that I wanted to include is the simple preparation of greens. Kale is one of my favorite vegetables, and if you just dice up a little bit of fresh ginger, or you could do garlic, one or the other, and then add that to a little saute, maybe use some olive oil, saute that, and then saute those greens. It is actually a very wonderful dish. Another fall one, of course, apples come into season in August, and so gingered apple crisp. There's a picture of some beautiful apples. And then a final fall one is a vegetarian groundnut stew. So that's another really good fall recipe. We'll do the winter comfort food. We know that you can still take advantage of seasonal vegetables. Of course, here in Kansas, you might think, well, there's not a lot of in-season things in winter, but if you, again, carry over some of those root vegetables, you can enjoy them all winter long. One of my favorites is just to cook short grain brown rice with winter squash. This is a butternut squash, or sometimes referred to as winter squash, and so that is a really good one. Also, Harvest Delight is a delicious, mostly root vegetable dish that you might want to try in the winter. And then one of our favorites, and I've made it many times, is secret chocolate cake. And you may wonder, what is the secret? Well, I guess I'll tell you. It has beets in it. And the beets are pureed. It actually has 2 cups of beets, but it is a lovely chocolate cake. When you're pouring the batter into the cake pan, it looks a lot like red velvet cake. When I come back, we will actually make the smoothie using the cantaloupe. So join me in just a minute, and we'll do one of the recipes.
The plumber said there's something wrong with my water. It looks like you have hard water. You need a water softener. Let me show you the options we have. Hey, do you guys deliver salt? We sure do. What about drinking water? We have water coolers and drinking water systems. We even have bottled water.
Find us on Facebook and itsbetterwater.com. And remember,
it's not just water, it's better water!
Here come the Men in Black trucks for all your home needs.
If you need repairs or a professional to check your home for damage, call the local guys you know and trust at AquaShield Roofing and Construction. Their 5-year warranty will give you the peace of mind you need from a company that will be there to stand behind their work. Call AquaShield Roofing and Construction at 785-475-2533 or visit aquashieldroofing.com today.
All Faiths Funeral Chapel and Smith Center will be here to assist you through a difficult time. Your loved ones will appreciate our large, up-to-date facility and fully furnished banquet hall. You can rest assured that we can provide an entire funeral or cremation package, including monuments at a price that are more affordable than other funeral homes. Plan ahead with All Faiths Funeral Chapel. No matter where life takes you, we can meet you there at any location. Call 785-686-4120 or visit allfaithsfuneralchapel.com.
The Rusty Tractor in Kensington offers big city dining with a small town feel. The Rusty Tractor features hand-cut steaks, burgers, wraps, and more, all with generous portions and quality products. The Rusty Tractor is proud to serve the area farming communities and welcomes everyone. Come as you are in your boots and jeans. You'll be right at home. Open daily and conveniently located on Highway 36. For more information, find them on Facebook, or for a full menu, visit rustytractorkensington.com.
Hi, we're here for the final section of sharing the fact sheet, Simple Seasonal Meals, with you today. We have talked about why it's important to eat more locally and in season. I have shared some alternatives if you would like to maybe grow a garden or visit farmers market a little more frequently and do that with your families. And then I shared some recipes with you. Well, then in this final segment, I want to show you some of the resources that I used. This first book is just an excellent one. This is the Rolling Prairie Cookbook, and it is by Nancy O'Connor. And it is very nicely done, where it has divided among all the vegetables, fruits, and herbs. And so you can just, when you have an abundance of something in your garden, you can say, well, what are we going to have tonight? We have all these beets. And then you can look it up and you'll find that grated beet recipe in this book. So it's an excellent resource. Another resource that I have found to be really excellent is this one. This is an actual cookbook from Christina Perello. At one point, I know she had a PBS TV show, Christina Cooks. She's a vivacious, red-haired lady that had some health issues. And so for her, cooking a little more plant-based diet has really been a very healing thing for her. And so she has some excellent ways to use fresh produce. And so the simple preparation of greens came from this book, as well as the cooking the rice and squash. I know that recipe was also from this book. A third resource that I really have enjoyed using is a Mennonite cookbook. It's called Simply in Season. This book the entire book is divided by the seasons, and so it's excellent in terms of knowing if we're in the middle of summer, let's go to the summer section and look for some recipes that are going to give us that really great flavor of something that is in season and perhaps locally grown. This is where the secret chocolate cake recipe was found. The recipe that has the beets in the chocolate cake came from this Simply in Season cookbook. So you might want to add it to your collection as well. Another resource that I found helpful is from the USDA. This one was actually prepared by kids in various schools, and then the USDA has put it together and published it. So the harvest vegetables that I talked about came from this recipe book. And what I think I maybe haven't mentioned in the previous segments that I want to point out is, when we get our kids involved, not only in just eating a food, but if you get them involved in planting some seeds and then watching that grow, harvesting it, and then preparing the food, you are much more likely to have that child like that dish and like that vegetable. So this is a really important thing for me to get that point across to families, that involve your children in doing the simple seasonal meal recipes with you. I think you will enjoy them. Along with those kid recipes, I have the two fact sheets, or actually two bulletins from Missouri. This one is called Grow, Eat, Grow. And this, again, has some great tips on gardening with your children, and then how you would prepare some of those foods and make them delicious. A lot of things with kids, you need to keep things crunchy. I don't know about you, but I don't like mushy vegetables, and I don't think kids do either. So this Grow, Eat, Grow has some excellent ideas on ways to have crunchy vegetables and just encourage children to eat more food like that. And then the final one is the Simple and Seasonal and Simple. This also is from Missouri, and it just has a few more ideas like that. On the back of your fact sheet, there is also a growing season bulletin. And actually, while I'm setting up, I'll talk about it just a little bit. It's actually from the Lawrence community, and it's called Growing Kansas or Growing Lawrence, I believe. But it has a really good chart that will give you the information on how to, what vegetables are in season at what times of the year, and so it's very helpful to you. Well, you've seen me add the gloves since I have not been able to wash my hands the last few minutes. But we are going to make one recipe from the Simple Seasonal Meals fact sheet. So I went ahead and chopped the cantaloupe, but I want to show you what a beautiful cantaloupe I got. And here it is. I'm filming this actually in July, but you're probably going to see it in August. But it is just in season and very beautiful. In our recipe, we're going to need a blender, and the ingredients are very simple. We have, I should probably show you too on the fact sheet that it is actually on page 4 of the fact sheet. And it is 2 cups of chopped cantaloupe or cantaloupe chunks. So I'm going to add that to the blender. And I've kind of pre-measured that. This is going to be similar to what a Orange Julius smoothie might be. It takes 1 cup of orange juice, so I'm going to measure that. Okay, set that there. We'll add the 1 cup of orange juice, and then we're going to add some ice cubes. It suggests about 8 cubes, so I'm just going to put them here. I'm going to add those, and we're going to start our blender. Okay, and I actually forgot to add the one other ingredient, so we're going to do that now. And actually, when I did this at my senior center in Great Bend, I did the same thing. We didn't add a sweetener. And actually, some of the people at my presentation were watching their sugar, and so they were kind of glad that I had left it out. But I'm going to add just a little bit of agave nectar, but you could use honey or other type of sweetener. I'm going to add just a little bit more ice. I think this ice maybe got a little bit soft. Add that, and we're going to whir it one more time, and then we'll pour it into our pan. All right. I'm going to pour this. It would be even better if I had a nice frosty mug to put this into, but I'm going to take this smoothie and pour it into this glass here. And you can see it's a very pretty color. Cantaloupe is very rich in antioxidants, and so it's a very, very good thing to be including into your diet at this time of year. You saw how easy that was. I think I left myself only 2 or 3 minutes to create that recipe, but all of these recipes, as I said earlier, have been prepared in the kitchen, and we've sampled them, and I think your family will really enjoy the recipes from this fact sheet. So once again, Simple Seasonal Meals is available to any of you who would like it. Here in Northwest Kansas, you can just visit your local county extension or district extension office, and they can get that for you. Or you can go to the Kansas State Research and Extension website, and they will be able to get that for you as well.